Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be learning about fractions on a number line. There are two ways we can put fractions on a number line. One is we can compare, and the second way is we can convert and change it to its decimal. So let's do it the first way first. So if I'm looking at a number line and I'm thinking about a half, let's get the fractions that we know on here first. A half is cutting it down in the middle. How about I cut it into 4 pieces, and I'm using multiples of 2 to make it easier for me. So that means if I cut it into 4 pieces, 1, 2, I cut this in half, 3, 4. That means I've already got 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters, and 4 quarters. How about I cut it into 8 pieces? I'm looking at this 4 and I'm just going to times by 2. That means each of my pieces so far are cut in half. Again, that means this is 1 over 8, 2 over 8, 3 over 8, 4 over 8, 5 over 8, 6 over 8, 7 over 8, and a whole. So now I've got lots of fractions on there. Now when I get some harder fractions, I can start comparing and thinking, is it bigger or is it smaller? And where will I put it? For example, 3 over 7. Sorry, 3 over 11. I'm thinking it will be somewhere in this area because it's not half, it's less than half. So I'm going to pick randomly a quarter. For us to compare, our pieces need to be the same size. Are they the same size at the moment? No. So we need to make them the same size. To do that, we need to make our denominators the same. So we need to skip count and think about what is the same. The lowest common multiple. So 11, 22, 33, 44, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, and 44. So I know 44 is my lowest common multiple. So that means I know my denominators will be 44. What did I times 11 by to get to 44? I times it by 4. Let's use our equivalent fraction knowledge. Whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So 3 times 4 equals 4, 8, 12. Awesome work. What did I have to times 4 by to get it to 44? 11, which means I have to times 1 by 11. So 1 times 11 equals 11. Oh, straight away I can tell that 12 over 44 is slightly bigger than 11 over 44. So 3 over 11 is slightly bigger than 1 over 4. That tells me that it's going to be over here. 3 over 11. So that is where we can compare. I want you to have a go now. I'm going to write a fraction up on the board. I want you to have a go, and then I will go over it with you. And I want you to think about what fraction you're picking, why, and do the calculations and work it out for me. I'll give you a few minutes. Please pause the video, have a go, and then I'll come back. Okay, you should have already got the answer already, so let's work this one out now. 4 over 7. I'm going to put a half because I'm guessing it's going to be slightly bigger than a half, but I just want to make sure. To start off, I need to make sure that my pieces are cut into the same size. At the moment, they're not. So to do that, I need to make sure my denominators are the same. So I look at the lowest common multiple. The lowest common multiple of 7 and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 is 14. 14 is the lowest common multiple. So I need to think about what I've done to get to 14. So I times 7 by 2 to get to 14. If I use my equivalent fraction knowledge, whatever I times the denominator by, I must times the numerator by. So I'll times that by 2, which equals 8. What did I times 2 by to get to 14? I times it by 7, which means I have to times the numerator by 7 as well. So 1 times 7 is 7. Straight away I can see that 8 parts is bigger than 7, and they are the same size now, so I can compare. Which means 4 over 7 is bigger than a half. So I'll put 4 over 7 right here. So that is how we compare fractions and be able to put them onto a number line. Now, and there's another way we can do it, and it doesn't involve. It involves converting our fractions to a decimal. So if we look at our place values, next to our ones column, after the decimal, we've got the tenths. Then we've got hundredths. And it keeps on going. So that means if I've got one whole and I can't share it, I would have cut it into 10 tenths. So that means I'm going to be cutting my number line into 10 pieces, starting it in the middle at 0.5 to make sure it's even, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 and 0.4, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8 and 0.9 and then one whole. Now, if I look at this, 0.1 can also be written as 0.10 or 0.10. 0.2 can also be written as 0.20. So between 0.10 and 0.20, I'm going to have 0.11, 0.12, 0.13, 0.14 and 0.15 in the middle there. And that will be the same across our number line. So that makes it a really simple straight away to see where any fraction is going to go a lot more accurately. For example, if I have the fraction 3 over 11, I know we looked at this fraction before. If we think about that line, that means a division line. So it's saying I've got 3 and I am dividing, I'm sharing between 11 people. I can't do it. So each person gets 0. I put a decimal place and that 3 is carried and that 3 is cut into tenths. So that means I've got 30 tenths. 30 divided by 11. 11, 22 will be the closest. Each person gets 2. If I share 22, not 30, I have 8 left over. So I've got 8 tenths turns into 80 hundredths. Now I've got 80 hundredths. I'll keep skip counting. 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77. Oh, that will be the closest. So 7. And I've got 3 left over. So it's going to go back and forward. So I'll put a line above that. So my answer is 0.27 reoccurring, which means my decimal will be going over here between the 0.2 and 0.3, which is where my fraction will be going. So we can see that it's going to be a lot more accurate. Your turn. I'm going to give you a question and I want you to think about where it's going to go along here. 5/6. Pause the video, have a go yourself, and then we together will go over it. Okay, let's have a go. 5 divided by 6. I can't do it, so I drop the 0 and carry the 5 over. Now I've got 50. So then I think how many 6s are in 50? I've got 8. Because 8 times 6 is 48. 2 left over. So I carry the 2, I drop the 0. How many 6s in 20? 6, 12, 18. 3. 2 left over. It's going to keep repeating. So I'll just put a dot there. So my answer is 0.83 reoccurring, and I put it on the number line here, 0.83 reoccurring. Thank you so much for joining me on fractions on a number line, and I'm hoping that you will subscribe, and I'll see you next time.